guys to Castle Club.
Come on over, guys.
CastleClub.tv, man. Come on over. Happy to have you guys over there. And then we'll actually get into the little nuances here, the specifics. We gave you out 3+ hours of free content, man. So now we're going to get into details of explaining the difference between, I guess, Devon, did you have something?
In the spirit of good faith, I've been doing quite a bit of internal critiquing on Haas's view, which he has actually answered to the best of his ability. I'd like to give him the opportunity to do the same.
To criticize. Okay, cool. We'll do that on Castle Club, guys. So come on over.
Yep.
Is that fair, Haas?
What?
That we do that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'll read the chats and we'll go over. Yeah, let me read these. The man calls my comment schizophrenic, then admits that at 17 his poems were to the devil as if it's normal. Marxism is evil.
I think the gentleman needs to clean the crap out of his ears because I said they weren't to the devil, and that's a complete misunderstanding. So please go get some swabs or something.
Okay. W. Myron, thank you, fucking Punch 99. Jason Todd goes, and just so you guys know, we're going to have Fresh and Fit news tomorrow. For some of you guys who are tuning in wondering why we're not doing the news, we're going to have it tomorrow 9 p.m. Does that work for you guys?
Yeah, I'm not 100% on the flight because I got to still change it.
We'll
figure out the time.
We'll figure it out.
Let me know. But Andrew's here, so haven't seen a debate that's going well. Thank you, Jason Todd. I appreciate that. What else do we got here? Jay. The explosion in human
population is due to the invention of Haber process, which allowed the creation of artificial fertilizer. Prior to this, we literally couldn't grow enough food. 50% of nitrogen found in human tissue is from Haber process. Okay.
Is that it?
Super nerd. Without the ability to produce the food to sustain the population, you could never get to billions of people. More mouths to feed requires men to feed the mouths. Technological advances would prioritize fire, food, and force before massive pop growth. Okay. Killer of Zero says, morals of communism are as follows. Checks notes. What the fuck, bro? The thing about equality for pay for everyone, regardless of skill or merit or experience in any field. I'm sure there's a moral, surely, you know what, never mind.
To be clear, briefly, I'm not checking notes, it's checking history. Know them by the fruits.
Okay.
There you go.
Framework engineer says, the population exploded since 1850 due to exponential energy. 1 barrel of oil equals 5 years of one man's labor. Since 1850, approximately 1.5 ton, or 1.5, is that ton? Yeah. Ton oil barrels have been produced. 7.5 ton years of labor, utilizing 175 years. That 115x the energy it was supposed to exist.
I think it's trillion.
Trillion? There you go.
Oh, okay.
Chance Gaming. Have these to challenge Andrew on his position. If the church were to hold all political power, what would he do different from communism?
And in the spirit of good faith, I just said, I think that it's absolutely time for Haas to be able to do an internal critique on my position. I think that that's totally fair.
If you're down for it, let's hear it.
And we will be doing that soon.
Yeah.
What else we got here? That's it? Cool. Yeah. All right, guys.
And we're on Castle Club.
We're already on right now?
Yep.
Awesome.
Oh, shit. Okay. All right.
So Haas and myself have had a very spirited debate thus far, but I do want to be in the spirit of very good faith.
Yeah. Good spirits, good faith.
Zoom call, link.
And we're all going out to dinner after this. So just so all of you know, the commie has to pay for himself, right? because I mean...
Yeah, you guys can say whatever you want now. We're on Castle Club. So you guys can swear.
I follow the North Korean model.
Yeah, you can say facts, whatever you guys want.
Self-reliance, okay?
Okay.
Yeah. We'll follow the principle.
No, it's on me, guys. But yeah, whatever you guys want to say. So it's on you, Haas.
I had a quick question for the guys real quick.
You wanted to finish his point? What he's going to say? Unless it has something completely different.
Just real quick, Haas, are you vegan?
Hell no.
Fuck no.
Hell no.
We're solid.
So you know where I found Haas? You want me to tell you?
Debating vegans.
Yeah, so Haas had a debate with a very popular vegan who actually made an argument which will live in history. It's called the name the trait argument. His name was Ask Yourself. That was my first introduction to Haas.
Yeah.
I
think it's actually kind of relevant because I want to clarify something about, maybe we have different perspectives as far as trying to get these points out and stuff.
Sure.
I always, as a matter of principle, have a degree of good faith in the masses, meaning I think that people, generally speaking, know what's right or wrong, and they using their common sense, I have trust and faith in that. I never want to operate within the parameters of an abstract or propositional logic where we nail ourselves down to some kind of invariable premise and then through some kind of strange mathematics attempt to be consistent on that basis. I think many debaters, Destiny's probably the biggest person who's guilty of this, ended up twisting themselves in very bizarre kind of positions, sometimes ones that are just beyond, like, for example, justifying cannibalism and incest and all these kind of stuff. Not even necessarily because they regard those things as moral, but because they had to commit to them.
Consistency.
For the sake of the consistency.
Yeah, I agree.
And I don't agree with that kind of view of truth. I think truth has to be rooted in a shared horizon of meaning. And that's the premise of communication itself. If there's no shared horizon of meaning...
Does it have to be objective, though?
Well, what determines its objectivity is not the degree to which it's consistent in the way we define it. What determines its objectivity is something that we are powerless to exert control in defining.
I'm not even disputing that. I think that trying to define objective truth is nightmarish, right?
Yeah.
It's like trying to define justice.
Well, not even necessarily.
It's like trying to define justice, right? It's really hard to do. I'm just asking you this.
Yeah.
Is there an objective truth?
Yes.
And should we be pursuing it?
Yes, but I don't think we could ever find objective truth by reducing it to a concept or reducing it to a kind of piece of data. I think we all have to have, in order, as a prerequisite for the recognition of objective truth, there needs to be a degree of trust and good faith that we share a horizon of meaning, we share a common reality with one another that's not negotiable, that is proven by virtue of our very communication, you know? And only when we have that, I mean, it's a given premise. It's not even one we have to establish. It's just one we don't need to artificially be confused about. If I say,
Haas, I don't think we can find objective truth unless we appeal to an unchanging standard.
this is what I disagree with a lot. I don't think
How can you have a changing standard and the truth be objective?
Because part of objective reality itself is change, in my view. I mean, reality itself,
the truth itself cannot change.
The truth, what is true, cannot change. You're right.
Well,
but
then how
the
could
content,
you ever find it
but
without a standard which is
but
unchanging?
because the content of the truth is not the truth of a concept. It's not the truth of a conceit. Truth, maybe it cannot change. God cannot change, for example. Let's say
But just truth. Let's forget the concept of God.
But anytime we are given anytime we are presented with a given content of the truth, that's always not the whole truth. It's a part of the truth. Therefore,
so truth is unachievable?
It's suspended in no. Anytime we isolate what the truth is, we're isolating something that can change.
Yeah, that's why it needs to be an unchanging standard.
We're not God. We will never behold the unchanging truth.
Are you not Islamic?
I'm not God.
Are you not Islamic?
Sure.
Can God's nature change?
No.
Is God truth?
I cannot comprehend.
Is God truth?
Yes, but I can't
comprehend. God is truth.
But
is
only
an unchanging
only
standard.
God can fully comprehend God's own nature.
Oh, but is God's nature truth?
Yes, but I can't comprehend that.
I'm not saying you can.
I can't
but
refer to
nature. But if his nature
is true, what standard could I use then? Where's my standard?
Well, his nature if I were you, I would use what are called transcendentals in order to.
This is paganism, though. This is worshiping thoughts. This is worshiping concepts of the mind.
Wait, Muslims agree that logic must come from God.
Yes, but God is not reducible to logic. God is not.
But his nature has to be logical.
Define logic. What do you mean by logic?
An unchanging standard.
No. This is not the Islamic view. An unchanging standard according to the precepts of thought. No. Islam attributes...
So can Allah create a rock so big that he can't lift it?
Islam attributes just as much weight, if not more, I mean, there's debate, to the heart as it does the mind.
Can Allah create a rock so big he can't lift it?
It's a ridiculous question.
Then answer, well, how is it ridiculous? Unless you appeal to a standard of his nature, which cannot change.
What are we talking about
I'm
here,
asking
though?
if Allah, you're the God you worship, can make a rock so big he cannot lift it.
It would no longer be God.
Right, so his nature has to not be changing.
I'm not saying God's nature can change.
Okay, well then logic, which is part of his nature, cannot be changing.
I'm saying that the minute I have an idea and thought of God, and I behold that as a standard, I have something temporal that is not itself God anymore. I have to. God is
What
what
does
I
that have to do with his nature?
because the nature of God is something that will always be beyond the threshold of what I can
Yeah,
comprehend
this is
by
the
thought.
essence energy distinction. I agree with you that you
Okay.
can only experience the energy, but never the essence of God. The essence.
I don't know
is
what you mean by energy.
Well, I'll explain.
yeah.
So, this thing here, you can experience it,
Okay.
but the thing in and of itself, you'll never know, right? You'll never know what it's like to. You'll never know what it's like to be a fucking cup.
Wait, hold on. You're talking about the kind of noumenal transcendental distinction or whatever.
I'm just going off of
Yeah,
your
yeah. No.
worldview.
That the idea, according to Kant, is not that I can't know it because I don't know what it's like to be a cup,
Well,
but that I can't know what it truly is outside the mediation of my
I'm not
own
asking
thought.
for Kant.
Yeah.
I'm
So what are you
asking for
talking about?
Hegel.
Yeah,
This cup.
I
Right,
can know
is-
this cup.
Yeah, it's just part of your experience, though, subjectively, of what the cup is.
No. Hegel would say that this distinction is false. That instead of drawing a distinction between my finite experience and the absolute, it's that the absolute only realizes itself through the particular and through the finite.
you can
but it can
envision
never.
anything.
But it can never be reduced to that. That's
Yeah,
the
sure,
problem.
sure. Well, that's-
So it's always suspended in a process of motion and change.
And is God subject to this?
According to Hegel, through history, yes,
So God changes.
it's in the nature of God, the way God, for Hegel, right? According to the
You
Hegel,
believe Hegel?
yeah, according to
Can
Hegel,
God's nature change?
it's superfluous because God's nature already contains the way in which the way he manifests himself to human beings changes throughout
So
history.
God can change. God's nature can change.
It's a difficult question. Speaking
You're
from
not
Hegel's
answering the question.
for Hegel's
Can
Christianity,
God's nature change or not, Haas?
for Hegel or for me.
For Hegel, who you believe is a true philosopher, and you follow Hegelianism,
Yeah,
according to Hegel, can God's nature change?
and by his nature you mean the essence of God.
Yes.
No. The mind really cannot change. The content of it can change. The content of its existence, yes, but it itself, the absolute, though unchanging, this is what makes dialectics and Hegel so complicated. The absolute, even if unchanging, only acquires existence through, for example, the relative. The universal only acquires existence through the particular. It can never be reduced to those moments, to those particulars, but that is what it is and nothing else.
And
So this is
let's distinguish real quick. What's a
Yeah.
particular?
for example, what?
Yeah, that's what I'm asking. For example, what is a particular?
For Hegel's logic, he'll talk about flowers, like, for example,
Like the smell?
like what?
The smell? Would that be a particular?
Smell?
The smell of a flower.
Oh, the smell of a flower.
Or would that be the thing?
It's both. For Hegel, he uses the example for the identity of the universal and the particular. The rose is red. Now, Hegel draws an interesting conclusion from this, which is very counterintuitive. We typically say that if we say the rose is red, then the rose merely has an attribute that it is red,
Yep.
right? It has redness. But Hegel says, no, the rose literally is red. Like, that is the concrete reality of the
It's same
color
idea,
red
the
itself.
elephant and grayness. Yeah.
So this is Hegel's example of the identity of the universal in particular within his logic.
Yeah, but that doesn't really tell us what a particular is. Is the particular the thing, or is the thing different than the particular?
Is the particular the thing itself?
Yeah.
Or is it distinct from it?
Yeah.
It's the thing itself.
Then is the particular a thing?
What do you mean?
Is it a thing? Is
Are we
the
talking about the
particular of
identity
the thing
of-
itself a thing?
Are we talking about the identity of the
Is the
universe?
particular of the thing itself a thing?
You've lost me. You need to
How do
trace
I
back.
lose you?
need to clarify
Okay.
what you're asking.
Is this a thing or a particular? Or is it both?
Why not both?
Okay, so it's both.
Okay.
Then what is a particular? Is it a thing?
The particular only exists in relation to the universal. Not you can't isolate it from that. What do we mean when we say particular? What are you
That's
saying?
what I'm asking you.
Yeah, we're talking about.
I think
we're talking about
I
an
think
instant.
Hegelianism, this is a big problem, right?
No, it's not.
It's not.
It's an instance of the universal.
so
Why
they're,
not?
So they're both true at the same time? The
Ye-
thing is the particular and a particular is the thing?
The thing is a particular, and the particular is a thing. Why not?
Then how do we isolate what a thing is? By its particulars?
I don't know how do we. People manage to get by day in day of their life, isolating many different particular things, rendering them intelligible in their actual lives, and it doesn't seem to be a metaphysical problem for them. So why should it be one for me?
Well,
Why do I need to pontificate upon the metaphysical nature of this coffee
because
cup
you
in order
believe
to
in
drink it?
Hegelianism.
But Hegel doesn't think
That's all he does. Have you ever read his books? They're fucking ridiculous. First of all,
well, it takes time to understand
yeah,
them.
it takes a long time to understand them. But your viewpoint is Hegelianism. To say to me, why is it that we should pontificate about this thing that I always pontificate about because I believe
But
in the
it's not
philosophy of
a
the thing?
necessary prerequisite to, in practical reality, be suspended in a relationship in which I interact and regard that thing as a thing. It's just that when I want to actually do fucking philosophy and critique philosophers, which is what Hegel was doing, I have to get in the nitty-gritty details.
Well, Hegel was also criticized by philosophers.
But in order to actually regard in practical reality this as a thing, I don't need philosophy for that.
Yeah, you do.
No, I don't.
Then what do you need?
Look, a crackhead on the street can literally take this and beat someone to death with it, and he doesn't know any philosophy at all.
He knows it's a thing.
So he needs philosophy to know it's a thing?
Yeah, well, how else would you know?
What level of philosophical literacy do you think that guy has?
When you're talking about philosophy, we're just talking about a description of material reality.
How many people do you think in America understand anything about philosophy?
I think most of them do. I think that...
You think most Americans are philosophically literate?
I think most of them could not mathematically express what that is, which could be formal logic.
So prove it that they have philosophical literacy then.
Sure. If you ask a person, does 2 + 2 = 4, what do you think they'll say?
They don't have to make any philosophical commitments whatsoever.
What do you think they'll say?
They'll say yes.
Yeah, why?
They won't give you an answer because they have no philosophical literacy.
No, I think that they will. I think they'll just say because it's true.
Again, there's
so
no...
they're saying to you, a thing cannot be what it's not.
But that doesn't even preempt their ability to treat 2 + 2 as 2. They don't have to care or think about philosophy even one time in their life. In order for them to have to get into
what do you think philosophy is?
Hold on. In order for people to have to inquire philosophically about things, it has to be raised as a problem to them. For most people, it's not an issue how they engage in everyday life and whatever.
But that doesn't mean it's not
philosophy never has to factor into anything for most people.
That doesn't mean it's not philosophy.
Prove it's philosophy. Where's the philosophy?
What else could it be? If philosophy, what is your? I mean, I would define I would define philosophy as just being a descriptive of objective reality.
No.
What else would it be?
In my view, philosophy is about, beginning with Plato, the relationship of the idea to its own instances and to itself, the self-relation of the idea.
So how do we take the immaterial and
philosophy,
put it to the material and then reconcile
let me explain something. Philosophy implies a very narrow range of the extent to which you're regarding reality as real. You're treating it only as the self-relation of the idea. So you're bracketing religion, you're bracketing feeling, you're bracketing intuition, you're bracketing the practical
reality.
reality.
We're branching.
No, you're bracketing these things and neglecting them, putting
bracketing?
them to... It means you're putting them to the side and having no regard for them.
They're all included under the branches of this thing.
All right, I feel like this is semantical, and I want to get to
How about this?
I just want to finish this real quick. This is why this is important. If the nature of God is unchanging, and you agree that it is unchanging, then truth has to be objective.
Our truth, whose truth?
The truth.
The extent to which we can engage with the truth will never be objective, and by that standard. By any standard we hold ourselves to, it will never, ever be enduring.
So you can never know what the truth is?
You can, but it's suspended in a process of change.
How do you know what the truth is?
Well, it's suspended in a process of historical change, and you know when the historical era arises to be receptive to this new calling of an era. I don't know what to tell you.
That doesn't answer my question. Can you know what is true or can't you?
Yeah.
Okay, how?
Okay. Again, a homeless person can know that it's true that this is a real thing.
What makes that true?
He doesn't have to give a fuck. He doesn't have to care, neither do I.
We don't have a standard for what truth is, Haas.
You're talking about something very narrow. You're saying according to the standard of philosophy. Why does that standard need to be supreme?
How else do we define what truth is?
Because people, like I said, get by day in day having a very practical understanding of what truth is.
That doesn't tell us what truth is, Haas.
You're basically saying that...
people can get by thinking all sorts of things that aren't true.
Okay, well, So this is my problem with propositional logic. Everyone is wrong. It's like you're sitting it's like that meme of sitting, they don't know that they're actually all wrong, because I've arrived at a truth that's philosophically true according to propositional logic, but the actual real world where people are actually existing and living, they're all wrong and I'm right. I'm like,
How
I
do you
fundamentally
know
reject
that they're all wrong or right? That's the question.
This perspective, this is the basic kind of perspective of skepticism, basically. It's basically like...
It's the opposite. It's the perspective of... it's the perspective of your theology. There's an unchanging truth. Its name is God. This God has unchanging values. This God has an unchanging nature.
That is the pagan God of philosophy, not the God of the Abrahamic tradition.
I'm sorry. I thought your God has an unchanging nature.